the flight that never arrived. On the 1st of May, 2023, a small plane disappeared over the Colombian Amazon. Inside the aircraft were 7 people: a mother, 3 other adults, and 4 children. The youngest was only 11 months old. The oldest was 13. When the plane crashed into one of the most remote rainforests on Earth, the 3 adults died. But somehow, the 4 children survived. Then they disappeared. For 40 days, the Colombian jungle became their entire world. No house, no road, no phone, no adult to guide them. Just 4 children, lost somewhere inside one of the most dangerous environments on Earth. The oldest was 13 years old. The youngest was still a baby. And somewhere in that endless forest, one question became more important than anything else. How do you keep a baby alive when you are still a child yourself? This is the true story of the 4 Mukutai siblings. And for 40 days, the jungle tried to keep them. On May 1, 2023, the children were traveling aboard a small Cessna 206 aircraft in Colombia. The plane was flying over the southern Amazon. The region was vast, remote, and covered by dense rainforest. Then, about 35 minutes into the flight, the pilot reported trouble with the engine. A distress call was sent. The aircraft was losing power. Below it was not a highway, not a city, not an airport, only an enormous green forest. The plane crashed into the jungle canopy. The aircraft disappeared beneath the trees. And when rescuers later reached the crash site, they found the bodies of the 3 adults. But the children were gone. The 4 children were Leslie, 13 years old, Solani, 9, Tyne Noriel, 5, and Kristen, only 11 months old. They had survived the crash. But surviving the crash was only the beginning, because now they were somewhere inside the Amazon, and nobody knew exactly where. 4 children against the jungle. At first, the rescuers did not know whether the children were still alive. The crash site gave them clues: a bottle, food remnants, personal objects, signs that the children had been there. But the children themselves were missing. That meant one thing: they had walked away from the wreckage. The question was, where? The Amazon is not like a normal forest. The ground is difficult to cross. The vegetation can be so dense that visibility is extremely limited. Rain can arrive suddenly. The heat can drain the body, and a person can be only a short distance away, while remaining completely invisible. The 4 children were not adults. They did not have maps. They did not have a rescue team. They did not know exactly where the searchers were. And they had to stay together. The oldest, Leslie, became the key to the survival of the group. She was only 13, but she had grown up with knowledge of the rainforest. She understood things that could make the difference between food and poison. She knew that not everything growing in the jungle was safe to eat. And she had to care for 3 younger children, including a baby. This is the part of the story that makes the survival even more extraordinary. Leslie was not simply trying to survive for herself. She was responsible for people who could not survive alone. A 9-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a baby who could not find food, shelter, or direction by himself. According to reports, the children survived by using what they could find around them, including food from the crash and edible items they knew from their environment. Their indigenous knowledge of the forest was considered an important factor in their survival. They also had to deal with the rain. The Amazon can be brutally wet. A dry place to sleep can become extremely important. A tree trunk, a protected space, anything that could give them shelter from the weather. The children were not simply walking through the jungle. They were moving through a world where every decision had consequences. Where to sleep, what to eat, when to move, when to stop, and how to keep the baby alive. The search operation became enormous. Colombian soldiers entered the forest. Indigenous volunteers joined them. More than 100 members of the military and dozens of indigenous people participated in the search. The operation was given a name: Operation Hope. From the sky, aircraft searched the jungle. Search teams moved through the forest, and helicopters dropped supplies. The rescuers did not know if the children could hear them. They did not know if the children were moving toward them or away from them. Every clue became important. A footprint, a piece of clothing, a discarded object, a piece of food. The jungle was leaving behind small signs, but the children were still invisible. The search for the invisible. Days passed, then more days. The children had been missing for 1 week, then 2, then 3. The searchers had to follow clues through an enormous area of rainforest, and the weather made everything harder. The jungle could hide almost anything: a person, a small object, even the sound of a voice. At one point, the rescuers found evidence that the children were moving through the forest. The discovery changed the operation. They were not searching for bodies. They were searching for survivors. Somewhere, 4 children were still alive. But the longer the search continued, the more dangerous the situation became. The baby was extremely young. The children were exposed to insects, rain, heat, fatigue, and the constant risk of getting separated. If one child became lost from the others, the situation could become even more dangerous. So staying together was essential. The story also became a battle between 2 groups: the children and the searchers. Both were moving through the same jungle, but neither could see the other. The searchers sometimes came close. Then the children moved again. The forest kept creating distance. The search teams found signs, but not the children. One of the most emotional elements of the search involved an indigenous search dog named Wilson. The dog became part of the operation. He was able to move through terrain that was extremely difficult for humans. At one point, the searchers believed Wilson had found signs connected to the children, but the dog later disappeared. For the search teams, it became another mystery inside the larger mystery. Were the children still moving? Were they hiding? Were they too weak to continue? Nobody knew. The operation continued. The days continued, and the children were still missing. Then the searchers began using aircraft to send messages through the forest. The children's grandmother's voice was broadcast from the sky. The message was simple: stay where you are. We are looking for you. But in the Amazon, sound does not always behave the way people expect. The jungle absorbs sound. The trees create confusion. A voice from the sky may sound close, even when the person is far away. The children may have heard the message, or they may never have known how close the rescuers were. By the 39th day, the search teams were exhausted. The operation had continued for weeks. The forest had resisted every attempt to find the children. But the search continued, because somewhere inside that jungle, 4 children were still missing. Then on June 9, 2023, the search changed forever. A group of indigenous searchers was moving through the forest, and then they heard something. At first it was faint, almost impossible to identify. A sound, then another. A cry. The searchers stopped. They listened. And then came the sound of a baby. One of the rescuers later realized what they were hearing. The children. "We are hungry." The searchers moved toward the sound. And then, after 40 days, they saw them. 4 children. Alive. Weak. Dirty. Covered in insect bites. But alive. Leslie was holding the baby. Solani was nearby. And 5-year-old Tyne was found a short distance away. The children had survived. The oldest was 13. The youngest was 1 year old. They had spent 40 days in the Amazon. And the first thing Leslie reportedly said to the rescuers was simple. "We are hungry." There was no dramatic speech, no heroic announcement, just hunger, the most basic reality of survival. After 40 days in the jungle, they were finally found. The operation had ended, but the story of their survival had only just begun. How did they survive? There was no single answer. It was not simply luck, and it was not simply one person. It was a combination of factors. The children survived the crash. The oldest child had knowledge of the rainforest. They were able to find food. They had some supplies from the aircraft. They moved through the jungle. They stayed together. And thousands of people searched for them. But the most important factor may have been the fact that Leslie understood the environment. The Amazon was dangerous, but it was also the environment in which she had grown up. She knew that the forest was not simply a wall of green. It contained food, shelter, water, and danger. The difference was knowing how to read it. That knowledge may have saved the lives of all 4 children. The rescue became a national moment in Colombia. The code word used to announce the discovery was miracle. The children were taken to safety and received medical treatment. They had lost weight. They were dehydrated and weakened. But they had survived an ordeal that seemed almost impossible. A plane crash. 40 days. The Amazon. 4 children. 1 baby. No adult with them. And no certainty that help would arrive. But perhaps the most powerful part of this story is not the moment they were found. It is the 40 days before that moment. Because during those 40 days, the children had no idea when the search would end. They could not know whether the rescuers were 1 day away or 100 miles away. They could not know whether the next night would be their last night in the forest. And yet somehow, they continued. 1 day, then another, then another. The oldest child was only 13. But in the middle of the Amazon, she became the person responsible for 3 younger lives. She could not call for help. She could not drive them out. She could not contact the outside world. She could only make the next decision. Find food. Find shelter. Keep the baby safe. Stay together. Continue. And that is what makes this story so extraordinary. Not because the children were invincible. They were not. They were vulnerable. They were young. They were tired. They were hungry. But survival does not always belong to the strongest person. Sometimes, it belongs to the person who knows what to do next. On the 40th day, the jungle finally gave them back. The searchers heard a baby crying. And after 40 days of silence, the children were found. 4 children had entered the Amazon after a plane crash. And 4 children came out alive. The forest had taken their mother. It had taken their home. It had taken 40 days of their childhood, but it did not take their lives. And somewhere in the deepest green of the Colombian Amazon, 4 small footprints became the evidence that they had never stopped moving. This is Deep by Assef.